Are you live or you are going to be live? Without talking? Okay, I thought I was still the boss around. I'm probably overestimating my possibilities. I think I might be overestimating my possibilities. I thought I was the boss, but not white. Not white, huh? Women are always in charge. Why should I be alone? Come, close to me. Nobody wants to come still. Don't put me. Do not make me a lone ranger. You come, lady. Can you come? Let me help you with your shit. Give me the shit. Come.
Can you help me with your coat?
No, I want to go. Okay.
Oh, you want to see it?
No, it's not.
Which one is inside again? No, sir. That's a strange word here, a little bit.
Yeah.
Just know that's it. Are they offended, you know? Are you okay? Not really. It's a little bit. All right, everybody. So you say you are on. Do I need this?
Yes.
I don't need it.
You do.
Yes, you need.
She said I don't need it.
You do,
We
sir.
are streaming also with this.
You do. Streaming. With this,
Got to
it's
listen.
going to another channel and
Got
this
to
somewhere else.
You got to listen. Yeah. You got to listen. I've got to listen.
Delegation?
Yes, I've got to listen. I've got to obey. I've got to obey. Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to HMT. Well, welcome to Ukraine, everybody. Of course, you know who this is, and but we need to know who all these people are.
Yeah.
So that's why today we have two sessions tonight. One session is starting. Sorry for coming to you late, by the way. My fault. Take responsibility. I was in court all day, just coming back, and then our team also was in town. They were visiting. They will tell you a little bit about that. And so I guess the team also has been busy. So sorry, we just had to do everything last minute. So, but you know what? You got to get to know a few people yesterday, and today we would like to use this first session of this class. That is from Ukraine's time. It's 7 o'clock till 8:30. So we'll be introducing and just telling you their experiences in Ukraine so far. How they got to even get here in the first place. How they get to know Pastor Sunday. How they get to be here. And their experiences in Ukraine. Some people visited the church yesterday. Some people visited another place wherever they went to today. I don't know. But, and they will be sharing with you their experiences. Then after that, we hope to finish that by 8:30. And then we will have to take a little bit of break. At 9, we'll be going to full training for HMT right after that. So I have Tony here. That's one of my names, so I will not forget that name. I have 12 names. Yeah, one of them is Tony. Oluwatoyin, yeah. And it's like I've seen your face before. You said I saw you on Facebook. How are you so certain I saw you?
I'm sure you seen me because I'm following you since last year, August.
Oh, okay. Are we friends on Facebook?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
And we are even from the same generation.
You know, I guess that is more the reason why I thought I've seen you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you come from the same place, faces look familiar to you. You are looking like somebody that I've known all my life.
Wow.
Like a family kind of member. Because a lot of my family people look just like you. And a lot of them, just like you. Because that's the same village. We are coming back from about the same village. Ijebu Mushin, Ijebu, Idomilese, Idomila, yeah, all that. What, did you live in Ijebu at all? No. But how did you know those areas?
We usually go every December.
Okay.
When I was during our childhood.
I did my legs, Ijebu Mushin and Idomila. These legs. Oh, they have taken some journey in that area. Imagbon. Yeah, that area. So that you know the showroom case. You don't know the showroom case. Okay, between Idomila and Ijebu Mushin is Imagbon here. So all that village, all those villages, I used to, their house was there just before Mushin, and then Ikoto and all those places, Okiowa, you know, a lot of villages in that area. So nice to meet you. So how did you get here? How did you get to meet me or to get to know Pastor Sunday or HMT?
Actually, somebody shared it on my timeline, and I started listening to you last year, August. So, yeah, I started listening to you from last year, August.
Then what happened? Because I've what they call him, Antichrist.
No. I think the first message you was sharing is about if somebody is a blessing when somebody loses their job.
Yeah.
And I was, wow, which was this man preaching?
Yeah.
This is not possible.
It must be heretic, yeah.
So then another message is about women. You are talking about women. There are we women. There are some women in our system that we need to be talking.
Yes.
Actually, you.
The husbands must allow you people to talk, yes.
Yeah, I actually learned some things about myself.
The husbands must learn to listen to them, right? Yeah. Those ladies must speak the 20,000 words in a day. Yeah. So if to be a good husband, you must just train yourself to listen to those 2,000 words. Yeah.
I've never heard it anyway from
and it's true. Yeah. So you just happened to listen to those accidentally on Facebook, or you went to YouTube to follow the series, the whole series about women, about
No, I was actually somebody shared it and I watched it. So I now discovered that every morning at 7 o'clock and 7 in the evening as well. So that was how I
started following
you.
So you are from Ireland?
Yeah, Dublin, Ireland.
Dublin, Ireland. How's your family? Will you tell us about yourself? How many kids?
My name is Toyin Udusoya.
Udusoya, that's Ijebu right there. So your husband is Ijebu
from
too?
Ijebu.
Ooh, wow.
So I'm from Ijebu.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have 4 kids.
How old are they?
First one is 16, 14, 9, and 7.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a nurse. I moved into
like every Nigerian woman now is a nurse.
I actually moved to Ireland in 2005. Then I've been working as a nurse there. And regarding Christian life, I've wasted a lot of time. Yeah, because I gave my life.
You begin to realize that, especially after following.
Yeah, when I started following you. I discovered that I've already wasted a lot of time, especially in church activities. 2 years ago, when I was hearing some messages about giving your time, serve God, you won't believe it. I took 1 year leave of absence to be able to serve God, and I was doing agency. So it was during your agency nurse. I said, they just call you like a local. So I actually took leave of absence for 1 year. I was thinking that if I were able to work, do more activities in church, God will bless me more. But I discovered that, in fact, I had a lot of loan to pay. I wasn't able to meet up. So when you are now preaching about activities, I now discover that I've wasted a lot of time because I gave my life to Christ since 2000, almost 17 years ago.
And you know, Toy, what I would like to say is that you are a Yoruba lady, Ijebu lady, or Yoruba lady in general. But one of the greatest blessings to Yoruba nation is the spirituality, the Pentecostalism. But I'm going to say something that's going to, for me, it's heartbreaking, and I hope people will understand this, but I'm going to get some wine in this, but I'm going to say it anyway. That thing, that same spirituality, has become one of the greatest curses to the Yoruba people. Because if you go to those mountains, they have a lot of mountains in Yoruba areas, prayer mountains. And all those camps, if not 50% of Nigerians that are there are Yoruba people. If not 50, it will be 60. Out of all the 250 nations in Nigeria, tribes, Yorubas are the zealous for God, for religiosity. And it's coming from, a lot of these leaders coming from Yoruba side of Nigeria, especially the CAC. So they have been taught that prayer, church is equal to God. So in your case, going to serve in the church, you've been brainwashed to think that serving in the church is actually equals to serving God. Whereas that is just religiosity. So you ended up accumulating debt, thinking you've served God, but you just wasted time and you just exercise in frivolity and stupidity. And you know, it's just not like, you just know you. I mean, you know what people tell me now, Toy? People tell me that people will leave England and leave Lagos, leave America, to go to those offices of those pastors, waiting there for 1 month to try to see the man of God. 2 months, they resign from their job, they take a leave of absence from their job for 6 months, for 1 year in Lagos, and then the pastor will tell them, go and pray and fast, you need to be here. People will just withdraw from their jobs, from their lifestyle, their whole, you know. What is that stupidity going on everywhere? You know, and these are people who are, by Nigerians in general, Africans, and these Yoruba people. And why should she do that? Not just that she's stupid, she just loves God. She wants to serve God. So my people, in their ignorance, they are sincere. They want to do their best to serve God, but their ignorance is being exploited by the so-called fathers and religious figures. And that's why we need to speak. All of us need to talk. All of us need to raise up our voices. We shouldn't be embarrassed to speak. And thank you so much for sharing that aspect of your life as well.
Thank you, sir. And one more thing that anytime I remember, I always cry. Especially when you said it. When I was in primary school, my parents are from Cherub and Seraph, White Garment Church. Oh, White Garment Church. So almost every year they would beat me with broom. Yeah.
Why?
They said I have a familiar spirit. They usually bring me to church, and the pastor, they will be beating me every year, almost every year. Oh, Pastor. Thank you. Almost every year. And to an extent that, you know, broom, I will be picking brooms after the beating. I will be picking broom out of my body.
Jesus! Jesus! Jesus!
I actually don't know anything about it. And I usually tell my mom that I have no clue of
what is witchcraft.
I have no clue.
And that thing is still going on.
Yeah.
Those practices are still going on in Nigeria up to today. It's horrible. And can you believe it? She's still loving God. She's still serving God. In Europe, Europeans would have just said, atheists, no God anymore. But, you know, so our people are so loving to God. They so, you know, they love God. But people are exploiting, taking advantage of them just left, right, and center. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. But thank God for your, you know, you have 4 kids. and your husband has decided to stay back with the kids.
Oh, yeah, he was the one that usually asked me to go. He encouraged me, yeah.
Kudos to you. I hope it's watching now.
Oh, definitely. Even my children, they are really eager to watch Pastor Sunday.
So when you began to listen to Pastor Sunday, you began to realize that you need to do your Christianity in a different way.
Yeah, I have to give my life again to Christ.
And so what are the changes you would think has happened in your life so far? Since you started?
Having a relationship with Christ. Yeah, I've been trying to do my quiet time.
Yeah. Personal relationship.
Personal relationship with Christ, yeah.
No more religious relationship.
And all these die by fire prayer, because I have loads of prayer books, yeah. I don't usually use them anymore. And there's kind of peace.
Yeah, peace of mind. A lot of people tell me that once they stop using those prayer books, that they begin to sleep at night. And they have more peace now. No more bad dreams, nightmares. Wow. So you didn't visit the church on Sunday?
No.
But you went somewhere today?
Yeah.
So will you tell us your experience or what you pick up?
And in fact, actually, is what I really
Where did
love.
you go to today?
Rehabilitation for mothers and children.
For women?
Yeah, women and their children.
And their children. Okay. Yeah, tell me what you
Yeah,
think.
about this social church.
Yeah, social
In
church.
fact, I really love
The
it.
concept, yeah.
I really love it, and I'm thinking of
Doing something like that.
yeah.
Especially in Nigeria. Can you imagine begin to do something like that in Nigeria? So many needs in Nigeria. Or here even.
Yeah, here especially, yeah.
So that's what you got.
Yeah, I really love it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is there any other thing you would like to say?
Maybe.
You are fine?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Maybe you would like to tell us more about your visit today.
Right, okay. I thought the other
Okay, to introduce
because
yourself.
of time.
Who is the next person? I'm sorry, sir. You are the next one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Livio Idenhout. I'm from.
Beautiful name.
Yeah.
Livio. What a name.
It's a little city, a little town in south of Holland.
Holland.
Holland, yeah. Olivio, yeah, that's an Italian name.
Italian.
Yeah, but the meaning is not so beautiful.
No, we don't need the meaning, but we like the sound.
Yeah, so I live in Rotterdam. I'm in law school to become a notary. And
how many years already in law school?
I'm in my 3rd bachelor year, so next year I'm going to do my master's degree.
Okay.
And I really like it here already. I really feel like I have a bonding experience with the group.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know you all that good, but it really feels like family. So,
Yeah.
and also with you, because yesterday I met you and I was like, oh, how are you? Like,
Old friend.
Yeah, old friend. Like I've seen and speaking to you for so long. But I was, I have a really funny story how I got connected to you.
Okay.
Because I was listening to a lot of teachings of the late Dr. Miles Monroe.
Right.
I read all of his books, and when he died, I saw you popping up on YouTube.
When he died, I popped up.
YouTube.
Continuation of my
Well, I first thought, oh, this is some Nigerian man who wants attention again, because most Nigerians don't have a good reputation in Holland.
Yeah.
We think of Nigerians of scammers and con men and those type of persons.
Yeah.
So I refused to listen to you and your teachings. I was like, no, this is a African guy. Please God, send somebody else to listen to it, but not this guy. So I went to on holidays in my mother's native country, which is Suriname, it's in South America. And I like to read books, so I went to the bookstore. And there I saw your book, Church Shift. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, this guy again. So in every...
I'm not going to read this book.
I refuse to read your book. And in every bookstore and every church I visited, I saw your book. Do you even know Suriname?
No.
Oh, okay.
I heard of it.
Well, you're famous there.
Ooh. Okay.
And well, I saw your book and I thought, okay, this guy must have some impact in the world or somewhere. So I felt in my spirit and just from the inside, just buy the book and read it and then judge him. So I read your book.
Don't just focus on the cover, right? Read the book before you judge it on the content.
Yeah, and I was really amazed about your story and how you built the church and what you did in the impact you have in this country.
Yeah.
Especially somebody from Nigeria, because I thought Nigerians don't do honest things. So I started to follow you on YouTube and listening to your messages, especially when I trained in the morning. Just listen to him, just to see if you are really sincere and genuine. And I thought, well, maybe it is just not true. But you never ask for money or all those typical things you hear pastors do, especially in America and Nigeria and all those type of things. So I decided to come here and experience this myself, everything you do.
Because what you are saying, this is the normal response of Europeans and people all over the world to Nigerians now and to Africans. These people who are trying to preach the gospel from Africa, they have just messed up now. They've messed up. They just messed up the reputation of the country, of Africa, and of the gospel. And we have the responsibility now to present a new face of Christianity and of Africans to the world. So when did you start to listen to me, and what are the messages you've listened to that touched you or that blessed you?
Well, it started in 2015, but my English wasn't that good, so I didn't know much about what the content was. So I started to learn English this January.
Okay.
And I really got inspired by your message of the Kingdom of God, the series, when you teach us that nations are sons of God, and your promised land is also a son. And I really feel a burden and a need to reach the youth of my country with the message of the kingdom, because we know about the salvation and the foundation that Jesus loves us, but not how to take the country and our nation over with the kingdom, with the message of the kingdom. So that's why I'm here to get trained. And what I see you guys have, the love and the passion and the excitement for Nigeria, I have it for Holland and especially for the youth. So that's
it's very interesting that you will be the only one coming from Holland. You didn't see anybody who knows me or who is coming from there, but you believed and decided to come. How, were you so inspired? How? Many people will say, no, I don't know anybody. They know, maybe they are going to sacrifice me, or the plane will come down, or the terrorists, the Russians will bomb it. Some fears somewhere.
It's because you were so open. I sent you a message and you responded, and every time I send you a message, you respond, and you're so, it's not like you're far away. It's just like you're personal and a friend. And you invited me to come. And
and it's everybody. Yesterday also some people spoke and that surprised them. Well, that was you. That you were surprised too. Why? I'm just a human being like you.
It's not common.
It's
not
not
a common practice.
I've never spoken to my pastor. He said
he said he was talking to his pastor in your church. Wow.
Or if we did, it's just surface level.
Okay. No, but we need to change this thing. We need to present a better Christ. We need to present a better Jesus.
You've started the journey. So.
And I think we all need to do it, because with Jesus, he was with everybody. Even with the tax collectors and the prostitutes and the sinners. And he was going to their houses, talking to them. People were lying on him. He was... of course, you risk a lot of things, being accused of things, or people suspecting your motives. But if you are more concerned about Christ, I don't care what anybody will say. God knows my heart. But why should people will still abuse that kind of thing? Can you believe it? But we still all need to be like that. We all need to be like that. Thank you, Livio. Beautiful name, Livio. You've introduced yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Ephraim.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Okay, my name is Ephraim. I'm coming from Canada, originally born in Mexico, so many years ago, okay? But I'm still young. Okay, what I can share about HMT is, this is my...
He's been here twice.
This is
Three
the third
times.
time.
Oh.
This is the third time. And really, it has changed my life and my vision or perspective how to see the life, especially when you talk about Jesus and the love of Jesus. How it impacts everyone's life and how we can understand the way that we were created to do something purposefully with intentionality. And
Nada na privatne stranice. Yes, please go ahead.
so since I started studying God's principles, I got in contact with Pastor Samuel through Pastor Derek in Canada. But it was more or less quite very similar story like Livio. Because I tried to take this training in Canada, but I couldn't, so I started, following Pastor Sunday before coming here. And actually at home, my family and I were, listening his teachings, to really understand what God's kingdom was, or what God's kingdom is really, and start living with those principles. And doing as well that thing in my daily life, in my working life, and in my ministry as well. So what I have seen is really a very good impact in people, because sometimes they say, what God has to do, for instance, with my finances, or with this area of my life. I have to, deal with my stuff, and I don't know if He's able to do something for me, but when you start talking about these principles, people start realizing. And obviously, when I get people like that, I send them directly to Pastor Sunday's teachings.
YouTube, right? YouTube, yeah.
So, and after that, well, I've seen people saying, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. And even the very first time when I came, my son was with me.
Yeah.
And by then he was 17 years old. And he said that it was a completely different story in his life.
It was what?
A different story in his life, right? A different thing, because he was very touched. And I see now, for instance, in his reactions, he's now 18 years old. In this age, youth goes up and down, right? And he wasn't the exception in that sense. But probably 4 weeks ago, he came to me and he said, Dad, I want to do this, because he's taking a year off to define what he's gonna do for the rest of his life. He read the Who Am I, the book from Pastor Sunday. He read the Church Shift, and he has read, now he's reading the Poor Mindset compared with the Generous Mindset.
Yeah.
And while working on his calling, and he came the other day and said, okay, Dad, I want to be the best, and I want to do this, because I started, thinking that God is talking to me, and this is what I'm going to need you to help. I said, wow, I'm here to help you for sure, but that is one of the good things I see, that when you get in contact with God's principles, the life changed. And in that sense, I want to say, well, thank you for, this calling that God made through Pastor Sunday, because he has been, generously giving these teachings away to so many people, and we have some in Canada, and well, it's really touching a lot of people, and I think it's creating a new vision and more effective vision who God is and what He wants for us and from us to do. And well, that has been so far my experience. In July, I came to take the training for trainers. With that, my mission is to take these teachings to Latin America, to the Spanish community.
Efren, you know, I'm sorry, but for people who are not Nigerians, like Efren, the Canadian or Mexican or even Livio, for people who are not Nigerians or Africans, you know, I've been biased and I'm not ashamed of it because for 30 years I've been like in the face of Russia and Ukraine. Now I'm only talking Nigeria, Africa, Nigeria. So it's like a little bit, the message is for the world really. But I have so much burden now for Africa. I'm from Nigeria. So even though this belongs to the world, and thank God it's blessing people from other places too. But you know, I think maybe we should, you know, I shouldn't talk just to Africans. Maybe we should expand the coast to other countries and other nations. So,
If you allow me, I can say in addition to that for me, what you are teaching is really for the whole world.
Yes.
Even if you just dedicate it to Nigeria, because wow, there is a purpose with that, and I understand that, and I think people understand that.
okay,
But the fundamentals are wherever you are.
okay.
When I was reading the book that how to save Nigeria and this how to develop a country, well, I was thinking this is for any country in the world, especially those ones who are called, you know, underdevelopment, like
Yes.
the third world, for
Third world
that
countries,
stuff.
yeah.
So,
So you read the book on Nigeria?
yeah.
And some Nigerians, they have not yet read the book on Nigeria. But you said it's for everyone.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Livwani Chikludo.
Were you born in Africa?
Yes.
Were you drinking a lot of milk when you were in Africa? Huh? Does your culture drink a lot of milk?
Not really, no.
Is your mom from Kenya,
No,
Malawi,
no,
South Africa?
yeah,
What tribe? Zulu?
no.
They don't drink milk in your father or your mother?
So they don't really drink milk.
Where do you get those teeth from? Because that teeth belongs to Somalians, Kenyans. Yes. Those are teeth that belong to, what do you call this? The people who are jumping in Kenya. What do you call it? The Maasai. You've got the Maasai teeth.
What is Maasai tea?
They are like yours.
Okay.
Yes, or if you are from because it's an indication that your predecessors were drinking a lot of milk.
Oh.
Yes. Tanzania, Namibia, some parts of not Namibia. What's the other country? Botswana. They have a lot of people drinking milk.
Oh, well, we're very close to Botswana.
They are very close to Botswana. Yeah.
Is there any teeth identification for Nigerians?
For Nigerians, for Nigerians, you have your own features, but only not the teeth. But you see, out of all of us, we are all Africans, but our teeth stand out. If you take note, if you will smile, if you will be lucky enough to see her smile, you will see that, yeah? Our teeth stand out. And, you know, there is a reason for it. It's not just because her name is Litwani. It's also because of her blood, DNA. And, yeah. So take note of that.
Okay, so like I said, I'm from South Africa, but I live in the UK now. I moved to the UK when I was 12 years of age, and how did I get to HMT? I can't explain it without talking about Queen Anastasia. I met Queen Anastasia when I was 13 years of age, probably a year and a half after I moved to the UK. So she got adopted me as my second mother. She's my second mom. When I met her, I was a broken little girl. And basically how I met her, just quickly, because there was a lot of people who were asking, so I thought I would take the opportunity to also explain that. She's always.
Can you get her face because she's sitting this way? Okay.
Oh, should I?
Close up.
Is the camera covering? Okay. Go ahead.
So she's always had a heart for helping people, and so throughout that time, I had a friend who lived around where we are. So from my house to her house is literally like 2 minutes walk. So she had opened her house to become sort of like a space for young people who were growing up with
Beautiful.
maybe issues, or she just wanted to help. She just wanted to see those kids, for someone to, she just wanted to be the voice, not just the voice, actually the listener. She wanted to listen to us, and she wanted, to encourage us and to raise us up. So that's what she's been able to do. I'm very fortunate. I feel so blessed to have met this lady. She's so wonderful. Out of all the kids whom you used to
Work with.
yes, work with. Yes, that's it. I've been the one who stayed close to her. I don't think you have any contact with the rest, do you?
Life has happened to them.
So yeah, I would like to say that I wanted to be really close to her because I felt really free around her. I felt I could be myself around her, and I could see myself in her in so many ways.
You want to tell us how old you are, or is you don't ask ladies in Europe how old they are, but just in case. Well, among the people here, just don't ask ladies how old they are. But.
Well, I'm 25, so yeah. So I met her when I was 13 or 14, I can't remember. Yeah, I'm 25 years of age. So throughout this meet, so we would meet in her house. Eventually, it was sort of like in a school. We got some funding. She applied for funding through the council, so we were able to have like a building where we would meet every Monday. So because she saw how responsible I was at the time, she gave me the responsibility to lead the group. But within that, I had so many issues. I had so many challenges that I was dealing with at the time. And I had questions because I was born in, well, the church that we go to in my house, with my family, we come from a Reformed Lutheran type of church. So growing up, coming to the UK, I was never really exposed to the Pentecostal charismatic churches and stuff. So I had a lot of questions. I wanted to find out why people speak tongues. I just didn't understand what is going on. I didn't understand why there was so many divisions in the church. If at all we're saying that this is the truth and this is the word of God. I didn't understand why there was Catholics. I didn't understand why there were Pentecostals. I just didn't understand why we just couldn't be all one and be all loving. I didn't get that. So due to my own curiosity, I told my parents that I'm going to go and look for a church somewhere, so that, because there was some question that I would ask my pastor and he wasn't able to answer them, like why do people speak tongues, for example. So yeah, that led me to a whole another story. Through that, I got to realize how that actually the church that I used to go to was so much better And the one that
And this Pentecostal
than the one. So I decided actually, let me just go back to my old church. That was much better and much peaceful. But the reason why also I went is because I just had I'm a curious person. I wanted to find out what is it that the Lutheran Church are doing that Pentecostals are not doing, or vice versa, you know. And also, I understood from like a young age, like around maybe 15, that there was more to life than just having a normal job. There was more to life. I was like, this can't be it. I can't just go to a job. I can't just work. There must be more to life. So I would come to a house with so many questions. I want to find out, well, what is it that makes people successful? You know, what is it? But she led me to just listening to her. She's just been really great. When you're around Queen Anastasia, you grow, because she would push you. She would push you to the maximum. Really, she really does push you. So that's how I got to meet. She met DSA, and through that she said, "Well, daughter, you guess what?" And she always does like, "Guess what, daughter? If there's a book, guess what, daughter? You have to buy this book." So yeah, so that's how I met DSA, and listening to him has been.
She cannot. There's no way she can speak louder than that.
And I'll try.
Well, you mean she should speak louder? No, it's not. It's not that problem. It should be your problem somewhere there. Yeah, it's not that problem. Or maybe the thing is not working. Maybe the mic is not working.
No, this is working perfect. No, they are complaining.
Then it has to be far from her.
They are complaining about this.
Okay, go ahead, please. It's not your problem. Don't bother. It's their problem. Let them fix it.
Okay. So I've been really blessed to have my mom in my life. She's been such a blessing because I was just really broken. I didn't understand. How do I explain this? I have to go back so that you can understand. So I grew up not knowing that my father wasn't my biological father. So I found out around the same time that I met her. Well, just before. So because of that, and because I think deeply about things, there was so much negative attached to that, because I then understood why I went through certain stuff when I was younger. Yeah, I understood why I went through such a traumatic experience at that time. So meeting her was really, really good for me, because I don't know where I would be without this woman. I really don't know where I would be. She has carried me from like I said, from like when I was 13 or to 14 and till today. She means so much to me. If she says, "Livwani, get this book," it means it is so important. It means I need to get that book. She's not just saying it because it looks good or whatever. She really knows what she's talking about. So, because I had this thing that, I understood that, I can't just have this job or whatever, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know how to even discover my calling. So I really, really loved God, and I said to my parents, I'm gonna go and study theology and go to Bible school. And you don't do that in an African. My mom was like, "Nope, you're not gonna do that." My dad was like, "Nope, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna have to go to university and study something." So I thought, what am I going to study? So I decided to pick a science basically, because that's something that I enjoyed at the time. So to cut the whole long story short, I finished.
You really probably need to cut it short.
Yes. I finished university last year, and I realized that everything that I went through before just started coming back. Like, my whole yearning of finding out who I am just became even more tense. And I just wanted to discover who I am. And because I didn't have the tools, I just shut down completely. Because everyone is telling me, get a job, but that was not in, as much as I would apply, that was just not in my heart. So DSA has been such a blessing, because I now understand myself better than before. I understand who I am. I am discovering who I am every single day. His teaching has been such a blessing, especially the Who Am I series. That answered a lot of questions that I had growing up. Questions that I would go to classes and they would not have answers for. Questions that led me to these churches, these, charismatic churches that made me even more confused. And, so because of that, it's, just his teaching has been, I'm free. That's all I can say. I am free, definitely.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
The psalmist.
Thank you. Well, I would like to first of all thank God for the privilege of being here today, and to also thank all DSA family worldwide who are watching right now, and I know my family too is watching, and I want to thank God for coming to meet my mentor for the first time. I got to know DSA about 7 years ago. Before then, I came to Germany. I think I've been about 14 years or thereabout. When I came in, I looked at the environment. I've been all my life in Africa. I grew up in the village. I went through a tough, hard family upbringing. I grew up in a very tough family, polygamous home, and I went through tough situations. Like when I read your story, it's most of the things you went through, I went through as well. So coming from that background to Europe and seeing the level of advancement, I had a lot of questions, and I needed to know. I was born again at home. I went through. I worked with some of the big churches in Nigeria and Lagos. I worked as a musician. I was trained there as a pastor before I came to Germany. And when I saw the level of development, I was wondering, now sometimes I will have to go out at night, walk on the street, and just be wondering, where have we been? What makes us, what made us to be at this level? And I began to look at their system, how religious they are. I noticed they were not going to church as we go to church at home. And I look at the number of churches, they were not as many as what we have at home. And so that gave me a concern. I was wondering, why do we have so many churches and we are praying so much? Every Friday we have night vigils. We are doing everything, but our economy is not changing. We don't have constant light. And since I entered, Deutschland, they've never been a blink of electricity. I mean, like going off for a second. And look at my country. We have so many churches. We are praying. We are fasting. We are doing all sort of religious things. And sometimes 3 days you don't have electricity. So I had a lot of questions in my mind. I was wondering, what are we doing wrong? So that was why I began to seek for knowledge. I needed to know what was going wrong. So I decided to study their system and compare with our system, and I couldn't just reconcile it. So I decided to look for men of God to learn from. So I began to write to different men of God in America, those top pastors. I wrote to all of them. I sent them email. No one replied. And in Africa, I also wrote to all the top pastors. No one replied. I was kind of frustrated. So one time, God got me connected to a family I was teaching their kids how to play the piano. He told me, there's one Nigeria. So when I go there, they had a satellite. So they were having these English channels, Ben TV and Revelation TV. So he told me, there's one Nigerian, and this family was from Ghana. So they told me, there's this Nigerian in Ukraine who is doing great things, that I need to know him. So I noted that. So when I got my apartment, I decided to get the satellite immediately, and I started watching. So one of the days I was watching the Revelation TV, I saw Pastor Sunday's church and him preaching. And very unfortunately, I would say, I had a woman like I took as a mother who was there with me. So we were watching together, and the way Pastor Sunday was laughing, the woman said, "He laughs too much." He laughs too much. I said, "But he's not spiritual." I said, but what he's saying makes sense. It's not the laughter that I'm concerned. What he's saying makes sense. So we have to listen. And we kept listening. And I looked at the church. Massive white people sitting on the edge of the chair listening. So I said, how come? I've looked all through American big churches. There's never been, I've not seen any black pastor pastoring this crowd of white people. I've seen all the black pastors pastor black churches. All the white pastors pastor white churches. So what makes these people to follow this man? And this man is it's not an American, he's an African. And it's not just an African, he's a Nigerian, which I know how Nigerians are being treated all over the world. How come? And a Yoruba man for that matter. A Yoruba. So I said, I have to know what makes, is it really true? So I kept listening and watching. And you did some interview with Yemi, the presenter, and so he brought out a lot of details about you. So I began to research, and I said, it's good, I need to listen to your messages. So, all the while, I've been ordering messages of pastors from America, from Nigeria. But I noticed that your messages were free. There was a website that all the messages, you could just go download. I said, what? I immediately bought an MP3 player. I downloaded them and I started listening. In fact, that time I used to drive to go and drop my child at the kindergarten. But because of listening to the message, I stopped driving. I had to walk. So that I will use that time to listen. I listened, and we had already started our ministry about 1 year, with black people. So when I listened to you, I said, it's like I've made a mistake in the ministry. And meanwhile, I had bought a ticket to travel to Nigeria that year to go and attend this Shiloh program. 2 months, yeah.
What is Shiloh?
It's a course program.
Like annual?
Yeah, annual program. So 2 months to my trip, I discovered Pastor Sunday. So I regretted ever buying. After listening, I regretted ever buying. I felt like returning. To just stop. They told me, yeah, it was a fixed ticket, so I need to go. I cannot change, or I will forfeit the money. So I said, oh God, I've just regretted buying this ticket. But I needed to go. So I went there. I went to the place. In fact, after listening to you for that short while, when I was entering, because I registered as a pastor from Germany, so they took me through where Oyedepo goes in to sit, and they took me to go and sit behind him. And when I was entering, the kind of cars I saw, I was shocked. I've not even in Germany. I've not seen people. I've not seen people drive those kind of cars. I said, wow. I was shocked. So I got and yes, jeeps that are so big, like maybe 30 of them lining here for different parts. I said, how come that? Just so rich. So I sat there at the end of the day, and I was there 2 days, and someone took me around the university. I went around and I just saw everything. And I was wondering, I had a lot of questions. So I began to ask how people are attending the schools, how people are the school fees. I noticed the amount. I said, will the poor people afford this? Because I've never been there. I used to hear, but I didn't want to bother so much. So I came back to Germany. So I had this question: what will I do? How do I reconcile this? I said, one mind said, write to Pastor Sunday. One man said, don't worry, you've been writing all this stuff past, they don't have time, they'll just forget. So one man keeps telling me to write. So one day I just picked up courage. I sent him an email. I was shocked. In 2 days I got a reply. I said, what? Maybe it's automatic message. Maybe just and when I read the content, when you receive an automatic message, the content is different from someone who's really writing to reply. So in order to confirm, I wrote him again. Another 2 days he replied. I said, I think I'm in the right track. So I kept writing, asking him different questions, and in fact, he wrote me that he even has someone in Germany. He sent me his number and the contact the person. I should contact him. And I contacted the person, and we got connected. And I asked the person a question. He said, yes, it's true, everything. And that was the beginning of my journey. And I wrote him and said, I want to be mentored by you. He sent me a form to fill, and I did that. And I kept receiving mentorship lessons every month. So that was the beginning of the journey, how I got to know him. And because the way we started our ministry with the black people, with the way we were brought up, all the religious way. So